Well, hello, children. Guess what? Grandpa has a good story to read to you today. Oh my goodness, it's one of my favorites, and it was your mom and dad's favorite when they were little kids, too. So I hope you enjoy it. It's called Horton Hatches the Egg. Let's go ahead and get started. Sighed Maisie, a lazy bird hatching an egg. I'm tired and bored, and I've got a kink in my leg from just sitting here day after day. It's work. How I hate it. I'd rather play. I'd rather take a vacation, fly off for some rest. If I could only somehow get someone to sit on my nest. If I could get someone, I'd fly away free. Then Horton the elephant passed by her tree. Hello, called the lazy bird, smiling her best. You've got nothing to do, and I need a rest. Would you like to sit on the egg in my nest? The elephant laughed. Why, of all such silly things! I haven't feathers and I haven't wings. Me on your egg? What does that make sense? Your egg is so small and I'm so immense. Tut, tut, cried Maisie. I know you're not small, but I'm sure you can do it. No trouble at all. Just sit on it softly. You're gentle and kind. Come, be a good fellow. I know you won't mind. I can't, said the elephant. Please, begged the bird. I won't be long gone, sir. I give you my word. I'll hurry right back while I'll never be missed. Well, very well, said the elephant. Since you insist, you want a vacation, go off and take it. I'll sit on your egg and I'll try not to break it. I'll stay and be faithful. I mean what I say. Toodaloo, sang Maisie and fluttered away. Hello, pussycat. You were snoozing there. The first thing I'll do, murmured Horton. Let's see. The first thing to do is prop up this tree. I'll make it much stronger. It has to be done before I get on. I must weigh a ton. He was a big elephant, but a sweet elephant. Then Horton the elephant smiled. Now that's that. And he sat 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 all day long and kept the egg warm. And he sat all that night through a terrible storm. It poured and it lightning, it thundered, it rumbled. This isn't much fun, the poor elephant grumbled. I wish you'd come back, 'cause I'm cold and I'm wet. I hope that Maisie bird doesn't forget. Oh, I don't know about that Maisie. But Maisie, by this time, was far beyond reach, enjoying the sunshine way off in Palm Beach. Do you know who lives in Palm Beach? And having such fun, such a wonderful rest, decided she'll never go back to her nest. Oh no, poor Horton. So Horton kept sitting there day after day, and soon it was autumn. The leaves blew away, and then came winter, the snow and the sleet, the icings hung from his trunk and his feet. Poor Horton kept sitting and said with a sneeze, I'll stay on this egg. I won't let it freeze. I mean what I said, and I said what I meant. An elephant's faithful 100%. Say hello to Pussycat. Hello, Pussycat. Okay. Oh boy, let's see what happens. So poor Horton sat there all winter through, and then came the springtime with troubles anew. His friends gathered round, and they shouted with glee, Look, Horton the elephant's up in a tree. Oh, they were mean. They taunted, they teased him, they yelled, How absurd! Old Horton the elephant thinks he's a bird. No matter what happened, that egg must be tended. Poor Horton's troubles were far from mended, for while Horton was sitting there so faithful and kind, three hunters came sneaking up softly behind. Uh-oh, hunters with guns. He heard the men's footsteps. He turned with a stare. Three rifles were aimed right at straight at his heart. Oh no. Did he run? He did not. Horton stayed on that nest. He held his head high and he threw out his chest and he looked at the hunters as much as to say, shoot if you must. I won't run away. I mean what I say, and I say what I mean. An elephant's faithful 100%. He's a faithful elephant. But the men didn't shoot. No, not that was to Horton's surprise. They dropped their guns and they stared with their eyes. Look, said the men, can such a thing be? An elephant sitting on top of a tree. It's strange, it's amazing, it's wonderful, new. Don't shoot him. We'll catch him and bring him back to the zoo. We'll take him alive. It's very funny. We'll sell him back to the circus for money. Oh boy. And the first thing he knew, they had built a wagon with ropes on the front for pulling and dragging. They dug up his trees and they put it inside with Horton, so sad he practically cried. We're off, said the men, and they all went with Horton, one unhappy 100%. Up out of the jungle, up into the sky, up over the mountains 10,000 feet high, then down the mountain, and down to the sea went the cart with the elephant, the nest, and the tree. Then out of the wagon and out of the ship and out of the ocean, whoop, what a trip! Rolling and tossing and splashing in spray. And Horton said day after day, I meant what I said and I meant what I meant, but oh, I'm so seasick 100%. After bobbing around for weeks like a cork, they landed at last in a town called New York. All ashore, the men shouted, and down with a lurch went Horton the elephant, still in his perch. Tied onto a board they could just hardly hold him. Bump! Horton landed, and then the men sold him. Sold to a circus. Then week after week they showed him to people at 10 cents a peek. They took him to Boston and Kalamazoo and Washington, Weehawken too, to Dayton, Ohio, St. Paul, Minnesota, to Wichita, Kansas, to Drake, North Dakota. And everywhere thousands of flocked to see and laugh at the elephant stuck in a tree. But Horton grew sadder the farther he went. But he said as he sat in his hot, noisy tent, I meant what I said and I said what I meant. An elephant faithful 100%. Then one day, the circus show happened to reach a town down far south, not far from Palm Beach. And dawdling along high up in the sky, who, of all people, should chance to fly by but that old good-for-nothing bird, Runaway Maisie, and spying the flags and the tents just below, she sang out, what fun! I think I'll go to the show. And she swooped from the clouds through an open tent door. Good gracious, said Maisie. I've seen you before. Poor Horton looked up with his face white as chalk. He started to speak, but before he could talk, there rang out a noisiest, ear-splitting squeak from the egg that had sat on for 51 weeks. A thumping, a wild, alive screeching. My egg, shouted Horton. My egg! Why, it's hatching! But it's mine, screamed the bird when she heard the egg crack. The work was all done, so she wanted it back. It's my egg, she sputtered. You stole it from me. Get off my nest and get out of my tree. Poor Horton. back down with a sad, heavy heart. But at that very instant the egg burst apart, and out of the pieces of red-white shell from the egg that he sat on so long and so well, Horton the elephant saw something whiz. It had ears and a tail and a trunk just like his. And the people came shouting, "What's all this about?" And they looked and they stared with eyes popping out. Then they cheered and they cheered and they cheered more and more. They'd never seen anything like this before. "My goodness, my gracious," they shouted. "My word, it's something brand new. It's an elephant bird." And it should be like that because Horton was faithful when he sat and he sat. He meant what he said and he sent what he meant. He said what he meant, and they sent him home happy 100%. Hope you liked the story, young people. That was fun. I love you. Bye bye.